There's a little bit of math involved in converting units, but it's very, very simple. There's only two simple concepts that you need to understand for converting units. The first one is a little bit of algebra. And the idea is this. If you have something like this, a times b over b times c, if you have one factor up in the numerator that also appears in the denominator, those two factors cancel out. And in this case, you're just left with a in the numerator and c in the denominator. So variables or factors, whether they're variables or numbers, can cancel out from the top and the bottom of a fraction. Units can also cancel out in the same way. Units, in other words, can be treated just like algebraic variables. So if you have miles per hour, for example, times hours, you can think of this hours as being hours over 1. So that hour there is really in the numerator, right there. And this one over here in the miles per hour is in the denominator. So those end up canceling out, leaving us simply with miles. So the units can cancel. You just need to understand that that can happen, and that is perfectly legal mathematically. The second concept you need to know deals with the number 1. You should know that some fractions are equal to 1. For example, 5 over 5 is equal to 1, or 1,000 over 1,000 is equal to 1, or any number over itself is equal to 1. So x over x is equal to 1 for any number x. As long as the thing on top and the thing on the bottom are the same, then a fraction made that way will end up being equal to 1. So we can write this, for example. I can write 1 foot over 12 inches is equal to 1. And that's true because 1 foot is the same thing as 12 inches. Now 1 over 12 is not equal to 1, but 1 foot divided by 12 inches is equal to 1. As long as the top and the bottom of the fraction are the same, then the fraction mathematically has to be equivalent to 1. And 1 foot is the same thing as 12 inches. So that fraction has to equal 1. We could also write this. We could also write 12 inches over 1 foot. That's also equal to 1 by the same reasoning. We could set it up either way. In both cases, they're equal to 1. Now here's the main idea. Algebraically, you need to know this. If you take something and multiply it by 1, multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. And of course you knew that already, but we need to point it out here because that's a key fact that comes into play here. Multiplying by 1 doesn't make anything any bigger or any smaller. And what we'll be doing, we'll be multiplying things by 1, but we'll be using fractions that look like this or that. Fractions that are made with these units on there that are deliberately made to equal 1, and they won't end up changing things, but will end up converting one unit to another in the process. And you'll see this in some examples.